Download Whiskey Hell Podcast. We call attention to the mainstream media narratives weekly in hopes that you'll have fun with how ridiculous the news really is. We don't want to change your mind. We just want to give you perspective so that you can choose more wisely and be more aware. Couple that with great craft beer, hilarious stories, deep thoughts, and real conversations. We know you're going to enjoy it. Download Whiskey Hell Podcast anywhere you find outstanding shows.
You are listening to a Fonz Media Network production.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? Hush.
Hello, World Ablaze listeners. If you haven't heard, we had a tragic event happen just recently. A very tragic event. An assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. And not just a presidential candidate, an ex-president of the United States of America. If you didn't know, well, you're going to know now. Here's a clip of what happened with live audio as it was unfolding in real time.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Down. Down.
Are we good? Shooter's down. Are we good to move?
We're good to move.
Clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes on.
Hold that in your head, it's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down.
Watch out.
So, as you can hear, this was absolutely unexpected, as these things usually are. In fact, I don't think anyone in America was even expecting for an assassination attempt to happen in our lifetime. Not in today's America. The fact that this happened is sad because it shows the world who America really is right now. We're a country divided, a country that is susceptible to hate-filled speeches and rhetoric and a fanatical belief in just nonsensical policies and agendas to keep us divided, to keep us hating each other. This event that happened, this assassination attempt, and let's just call it what it was, an assassination attempt, was only made possible due to the years of hate-filled speech and rhetoric. I want to make this very clear. Many people were jumping to conclusions with their conspiracy theories, and right away were blaming the Democrats. Some were even blaming Joe Biden himself. There isn't evidence for that. And furthermore, if that's your knee-jerk reaction, that in and of itself is bullshit. Because as an American, this isn't about party politics. This is about respect for our nation. This is about respect for democracy. And you're probably wondering what I mean by that. Well, what I mean by that is we have a presidential candidate running for office with the support of a large amount of Americans, just as Joe Biden does. Heck, we even have RFK out there with a very good amount of people supporting him. the right to run for president in the United States is basically what our country is all about. That right there, the right for the people to vote who will lead the free nation, is a huge reflection of what a democratic republic looks like. And for it to be considered okay to just grab a weapon, whichever weapon you choose, and to go kill a presidential candidate or a sitting president themselves is appalling. Even more appalling is that there are people that support this. There are people that were actually upset that Donald Trump did not die. That in and of itself is anti-American. The question is, how did we get here? And I'll tell you how we got here. Because of one of the most basic tools that have been used throughout history to manipulate and control a people. And those are words. Words have power. And that's why when you are a public figure, when you are someone who's considered a person of influence, you must choose your words wisely. That's just not a cliche of a saying. It is extremely true. And what happened in Pennsylvania at Trump's rally is a direct reflection of carelessly throwing words around. Because there are people out there, and not to be insulting, but are malleable. They are weak-minded. And they do take things literally and out of context. It has been said that although this just happened a few days ago, there are already people in the media trying to say that this whole thing was staged and was Trump's actual fault for being who he is. Why would Trump go out of his way to stage an assassination when he didn't need to? He's leading in the polls. He's extremely popular. And furthermore, you think that he would go ahead and do something that would literally kill people? Of course, if you're a Democrat, you're probably going to say, what about January 6th? Look, we're not going to talk about January 6th anymore because it's been debunked. I've played the videos. Countless people play the videos. There is so much evidence out there that points to it not being Trump's fault. The only thing I ever faulted him for was not reacting sooner and trying to calm down the crowd on January 6th. But he was not behind January 6th. And he's definitely not behind his own assassination attempt. And the fact that the left was so quick to go to this horrible, hateful rhetoric to further divide us as a nation and to try to keep people swayed over to the Democratic Party for votes, it's ridiculous. It's horrible. It's horrific. And they should be called out for it because words do have power. Look, this isn't going to be my normal entertaining show. I'm not going to sit here and be, good old George over here on the mic. No, I'm going to call people out on their shit because America needs to get their shit together. We look like a bunch of assholes to the world right now. And we are a bunch of assholes to each other. And we are not the America that we are meant to be right now. We're just not. So let me get back to words. The only thing bothersome about the Democratic Party right now, and people who support the Democratic Party call themselves Democrats and liberals, is that they choose to ignore how powerful the words are that they have said in regard to Donald Trump, his followers, and not just Donald Trump, his followers, but about Republicans in general, and how every Republican is somehow a far-right extremist who wants nothing more but to cause chaos and wreak havoc across the country. Well, founder Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project was actually This video came back up to surface because he was quoted, actually filmed, saying that we need to put a bullet in Trump. Play that video.
Just sit back on the sidelines and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Okay, now you might say that was taken out of context. It was a small clip of a complete speech or, statement. You may not be wrong there. But what's important is the words were part of his complete statement made against Donald Trump. You have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. Words have power. People listen to these things. And when you say it enough, and if you keep saying it, and you keep saying it, and you say it enough, and you say it even more, people believe it to be the truth, the mission statement, what you must do. Even our sitting president, Joe Biden, is not safe from having to watch what he says. And even if this was supposedly a joke, Joe Biden was recorded and quoted. He was quoted saying that it's time to put a bullseye on Donald Trump. I got this at a Politico, where he had an interview with them where he was addressing donors in a private meeting. This is Joe Biden, and I'm quoting him. And this actually just came out this month of July 8th. Okay, here's his quote. Joe Biden, I have one job, and that's to beat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that. So we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. You see, words have power. Another statement about putting a bullet into Donald Trump. And this by our current sitting president. Now, I'm not accusing Joe Biden of making the call or even being behind this. Believe me, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, watch what you say. It's all fun and games until something happens. And something did happen. Something could have been worse. Because if that assassination was successful, you better well damn bet your fucking ass that we would be in a civil war right now, because America is a powder keg right now. And that keg is full of powder, and all it takes is just one spark. Not even a large spark, just a tiny spark for it to blow. That's where we're at as a country. And what's even more despicable are people who are considered influencers and famous. Here's Harry Sisson on X posting this. According to Supreme Court, Biden could now send a SEAL Team 6 to take all of them out. He could send in the military to take out Trump. He has immunity for official acts now. This post got millions of views. This is an irresponsible statement. And that's not all. There's more. There are videos floating around saying, damn, they should have got him. Why did they miss? I wish he was dead. There are literally people saying that they support the idea of assassinating Donald Trump. They are just freaking out because he's not dead. I'm going to call this person out. This is Leah Delaria. I would say that I'm apologizing for pronouncing her name, but I don't give a fuck about her, especially after this statement. I'm going to play her despicable video.
I'm done. I'm fucking seriously done. The Supreme Court has pissed me off so much right now. Like, so much. Joe, you're a reasonable man. You don't want to do this, but here's the reality. This is a fucking war. This is a war now, and we are fighting for our fucking country. And these assholes are going to take it away. They're going to take it away. Fuck you, Clarence Uncle Thomas. Fuck you. Joe, you now have the right to take that bitch Trump out. Take him out, Joe. If he was Hitler and this was 1940, you'd take him out. Well, he is Hitler and this is 1940. Take him the fuck out.
Well, that can't be any more clear about her intentions or its intentions or where the fuck she wants to call herself. Take Donald Trump out. This is her angry, ranting response about a Supreme Court ruling that gives immunity to presidents. Now, what's crazy is that ruling was just reinforcing what was already written in congressional law anyway about a sitting president. But this scum over here of a human being, this poor representation of an actual American calling for violence and trying to say it's okay to assassinate a president, an ex-president, and current presidential candidate is fucking unbelievable. Like, fuck her. She needs to be removed. She needs to be investigated. In fact, from what I can recall, it's a crime to even insinuate assassinating a current or ex-president of the United States. But of course, this person is going to get a pass because it's a democratic liberal world. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody who's democratic or liberal leaning that you're the problem, because I don't believe you are. You're people, just like Republicans are people, and normal people don't want this. Normal people don't want to see our presidents assassinated or being attempted to be assassinated. We all have our own disagreements, but in the end, we should love the country we live in, and the end goal should be to move America forward, not become a country divided. So, with that being said, I'm not saying this Leah Delaria represents everyone, but there's a lot of people like her all over the internet right now, stating the same type of things with the same exact messaging. Hell, let's go ahead and read some more stuff off about some beautiful people. In fact, here's another one. Dr. Karen Pinder. Now, she's in Canada and professor at the University of British Columbia out there in Vancouver. But as soon as this happened, this is what she tweeted. Damn, so close. Too bad. Here's a response. Damn, it's so close. And now he'll milk being a victim for more votes. I really wish the person had better aim. And here is Dr. Karen Pinder responding once more. What a glorious day this could have been. You know, words have power. Words have power. And especially from someone who's supposedly extremely educated and teaching at the university level, you think that you would have responsibility for your own fucking mouth, for the things that you say and how you represent yourself and a prestigious employer, by the way, like the University of the British Columbia. But publicly, this person goes out and tweets this hate-filled rhetoric and makes such a stupid, uneducated statement. But that's just not enough. We even have people in Congress and their assistants and staffers going out and wishing Donald Trump was dead. Here's staffer for Congressman Benny Thompson. Jacqueline Marsaw. I don't condone violence, but please get you some shooting lessons so you don't miss next time. Oops, that wasn't me talking. Of course it wasn't you talking, Jacqueline. Of course it wasn't. You want to hear some more? Of course you do. In fact, this kind of harkens back to what I read about Joe Biden saying to put Trump in a bullseye. Huffington Post. Supreme Court gives Joe Biden the legal okay to assassinate Donald Trump. After everything that I've said so far, that I've read in the videos, now there's a ton of this. I can't sit here for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is, just playing clips and videos. But so far, I haven't found one Democrat calling for these people to be held accountable for their actions, for what they're saying. See, what they're saying is literally inciting violence, and they're all doing it in unison. Same messaging, same wording, over and over and over. And the more you say something, the more people believe it's true. The more these weak-minded, malleable people now become your instruments of death and destruction. And that's exactly what happened. So, again, I'm not saying Biden's directly behind this. I'm saying, not even saying our U.S. government is directly behind this, because I'm not going to say that. There is no evidence yet of it. We can speculate. We're not a conspiracy show here, but I damn well could go ahead and push that conspiracy out there, but I'm not going to. There's enough people out there already doing that. But it's ridiculous how this is okay. The years and years of hate-filled speech and violence towards Donald Trump, towards his followers, towards Republicans, towards anybody who doesn't support the Democratic Party's way of life, liberty, and injustice, not justice, but injustice. Anyone who's not on their side is the enemy. Let me read some more here. This is Representative Stephen Woodrow. The last thing America needed was sympathy for the devil, but here we are. Good one. You should fucking be fired, Stephen. You need to step down because you are not upholding your oath of office. How about Benny Thompson himself, Benny G. Thompson? Now here he makes a plea about how horrible this was, but it's a bit hypocritical because he states, there is no room in American democracy for political violence. I am grateful for law enforcement's fast response to this incident. I am glad the former president is safe, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved. Well and good, Benny. And America thanks you for that statement. But here's some corrections. Here's some added context added by the great people of X. It says Benny Thompson proposed legislation that would authorize removal of Secret Service protection from former presidents upon sentencing following conviction of a federal or state offense that is punishable for a term of imprisonment for at least 1 year. Huh. That's pretty interesting there, Benny. A bit hypocritical, but we appreciate your statement nonetheless. So, again, words are powerful. People listen. People are out there that will actually take you literally. So let's pull our heads out of our ass here. Let's be a united America, a unified America. If you don't like what a Republican stands for, too fucking bad. Because guess what? Republicans don't necessarily stand for what you Democrats stand for. We have many similarities, but there's these few things that do separate us. But in the end, the meat and potatoes of it all, we're fucking Americans, and we need to start acting like it. It shouldn't be okay for an assassination attempt to happen. I want you to know that today I was walking around. This is the day after the event. I'm not sure when you're going to hear this recording, but I was walking around at the store. I had to get some items. And what was crazy, and what was a huge contrast to what happened on 9/11 is this. And I'm not comparing this to 9/11, but this is crazy. Not one single person anywhere that I went, and there was a lot of people, had the assassination attempt under their breath. Not anybody was talking about it. Nobody brought it up. Everyone was just going about their day like nothing fucking happened. Like, well, that was that. I remember when 9/11 happened, you couldn't shut anybody up. There wasn't one person, no matter where you went. If you went to the store, a restaurant, you went to get gas, didn't matter. Someone would stop you and talk about it. We had a heinous assassination attempt on a presidential candidate, an ex-president of the United States, and not one single fucking person is concerned. Not one single fucking person had anything to say about it. Not one single fucking person turned to their American brother or sister and said, wow, did you hear about what happened? Wasn't it fucking crazy? No, not one person did, because we are a bunch of selfish, divided cunts right now. And that's not what we should be. We need to come together and actually start acting like adults and start acting like the Americans we really are and show the world who we are as a country. Because right now, we're not a country. We're just not. We're just a divided waste of existence right now. We're losing ourselves. I'm going to play some more things. I could make this a long episode, but I think I'm going to keep this kind of short. I've said enough. I've dropped enough explicit words on you. But here's another video of liberals and Democrats spewing hate-filled rhetoric to the American public.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now. Okay.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there, we're going to...
But this is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
So again, words have power. And I think everybody needs to hold these influencers, politicians, leaders accountable for what they say. Because this is how we got here as a country. By ramming this hateful rhetoric down the throats of the American people. It's important to know that I'm not saying we need to abolish free speech. I'm saying that you should be responsible with your words and know your power. Know the power you have to influence. And you should be held responsible if you're in that position. Words have power, and that is exactly how we got to where we are at right now. If we disagree on policy, fine. If we disagree on sexual preference in America, fine. If we disagree on education, fine. But we can't get away from who we are. We can't get away from being an American and the basic things that we all want as human beings. This act, this assassination attempt, really just showed the world America's true colors, and it showed Americans who we really are to each other. It's time to start acting like Americans. It's absolutely time to stop fighting with each other, and it's time to make some real sensible decisions for the protection of this country, for the protection of its citizens, and the protection of our children and our future. Thanks for listening to me rant, but I'm serious. I'm tired of this shit. Let's pull our heads out of our ass and let's move America forward together.
I wanna taste your content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.